All right, for this experiment, what we're going to do is we're going to basically see how does the number of turns in a coil affect the induced voltage. So in other words, I have three coils here. I have one that has 200 turns of wire on it. It's wrapped around 200 times. I have another one that's wrapped around 400 times. And I have another one that's wrapped around 800 times. So what I'm going to do is I already got my sensors, just a Bluetooth voltage sensor, and it's hooked up with the negative terminal on top and the positive terminal on the bottom. That's important. So where the little 200 is, and it doesn't matter which one we do, top or bottom, but as long as we're consistent. I have my little bar magnet, south and north pole. And then what I'm going to do is just to help me, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up dropping the magnet through the coil, and that way we have a magnetic field passing through the coil, which will induce a voltage in the coiled wire. And there's a couple of things we need to keep constant. One constant I've already mentioned is making sure that the terminals are the same for every trial. So when I switch it out to a different coil, I want to make sure that the negative, the black lead or terminal is on top. Another thing I want to do is make sure that I always drop it with the same pole facing downward. Again, it doesn't matter which one I do as long as I'm consistent. So for this, I'm going to always drop it south pole down. Now, another variable that I want to control and make sure is constant is, well, the speed at which I drop it from. Meaning, if I drop it from higher up, it's going to have more speed when it passes through the coil. So to make sure that I'm consistent with that, I just kind of made this this tube, and I've got a little line here. I'm going to scooch that down in there just so it's right up against the line, and that way I could drop it through south pole first, through the tube from the same height every single time. And so I'm going to make sure that my sensor is paired to my data collection, the Vernier graphical analysis program. I could do it either on my laptop, I could do it on my mobile device if I download the app, which is free, and I recommend it because then you could just pair it up with whatever you want. But you could also, it should be installed on your student device, and then you pair it. You pair your sensor with your device. It just pairs up through Bluetooth, and I'm going to go ahead and click Start data to gather the data. So I'm going to click that. Once I do that, I'm going to have 10 seconds because of the settings that I have that I explain in the instructions. I'm going to have 10 seconds. It'll automatically stop gathering data after 10 seconds. So I'm going to click Start, and then I'm going to carefully make sure it's south pole, and I'm going to drop it. So I don't like that one because it bounced at the end and it kind of went back up in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it just a little bit higher. It doesn't matter how far it falls after it gets through the coil, but I want to make sure it doesn't bounce back up into the coil and give you some bad data. So it's already done gathering data, so I'm going to click Start again. I've got 10 seconds. I'm going to hold it up right there and drop it. And that was a pretty clean drop. I'm happy with how that went. So then I'm going to detach everything from my 200 coil. I'm going to hook it up to my 400 turn coil, black terminal on top, red on the bottom. I'm going to take my paper, put it right where it was before. And what I'm going to do then, make sure I got the south side down, ready to go. I'm going to click Collect. I'm going to hold it up high so it doesn't bounce up there, and drop it. Now, that bounced, but it didn't bounce back up into the coil. However, I'm looking at my data. I got a little bit of a jiggle. I should have two very clean, distinct peaks. So I'm going to try that one more time, make sure it doesn't bounce again at the thing, and click south pole down. There we go. So that's good data. And one more time, I'm going to switch to the 800 black lead on top, red on the bottom, line there, south pole down, start gathering data, hold up high, and that should do it.